Hello, this is Glorious Sabine. How are you doing today? Today we'll be doing technically the third day that I'll be training with A.B.A on Guilty Gear XX Plus R. Sorry, my mouth has kind of slipped. It's kind of been a semi boring day. So yeah, I'll be practicing with A.B.A again. This time what we're going to be doing is, well, in all honesty, I'm just going to spend about an hour just messing about. So what I'll be trying to do, I'm just going to adjust the volume a little bit. That's better. I think that should be much better. Right. So this time, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to mess around, and I'm going to be trying to just get used to the controls. See, there we go. So as you can see, I'm slowly getting used to how the controls work. Although still quite a bit of work. I'm gonna stop focusing on trying to get the combos that I saw on Dustloop. I mean, they are good at what they do, but unfortunately, what I'm finding is that it's not syncing up properly. So yeah, instead I'm just going to mess around for a little bit. So, if I do some absolutely amazing combos, I do some absolutely amazing combos. And this time I'm going to be doing this for about an hour. So yeah, this might be a bit boring for the action. So instead I'm just going to end up chatting shit, which is usually what I end up doing with some of my Minecraft playthroughs, or at least the 3 that I've done, I've submitted onto this channel. So yeah, let's get started with the hour. Yeah, and let's get going. So I'm just gonna check something quickly. So anyway, how are you today? I understand that the world is still as daunting as ever for a lot of people. And that, unfortunately, that some of the news might not be what you hear, from both sides of the spectrum. And yes, that is actually both sides of the spectrum. Don't be in any doubt about that at all. So yeah, I'm just clearing some space. I've just realised I'm quickly running out of space on my hard drive. There we go. So just clear some stuff out. So let's reset this. And instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be trying to get into. I'm going to be trying to get into the bonding. I'm going to try, but I think I just need to get used to the feel of a stick, and I don't think I've actually bothered to do that. See, I've been learning all this stuff about this is exactly what happened with Sam's show before, where I've been learning all this stuff and doing all the combos and everything like that, and doing all the special moves. But when it comes down to it, it's not really. But when it comes down to it, I never actually got used to the stick, and I'm probably getting better at doing the this like that. That was pretty good. I've been getting used to trying to get how the controls work on this stick. I still don't feel as if I'm there yet, and it's because I realised that in actual fact I've never actually practiced with the stick properly. So instead I'm going to be going to just do some random shit, to be honest. Oh, you see, that was awesome, wasn't it? So I guess one of the questions you might be asking is why did I choose A.B.A? And I think I mentioned alluded to this before. A goth chick who's in love with a key is a bit of a good concept, isn't it? A bit of a weird concept, and I love doing weird characters like that, But I suppose in a way, I always thought she always came across as really cool, a tall redhead chick whose husband is a key. But yeah, Well, at least she's redhead in this game. If you played Strive, you know that she's now got what blue is it? Let's reset this. Yeah, it's I think it's cerulean blue, and the reason, and there's always been a bit of speculation as to why that was, and I think there was a fan theory that in actual fact it was because, you know, that she was eventually she had copper hair and it was oxidizing, so it was eventually turning a kind of an oxidized blue. But it's not true, as it happens. It's because, it's not true as it happens canonically. It's because basically she just likes the colour, so she decided to style herself with the hair, style her hair with that colour. But you know, I do prefer her with the ginger hair. In fact, in total, I actually prefer this design full stop. And I think it's, you know, I think it's great that it's great that she's had a redesign and everything. You know, I think that one of the things whenever you say what you think about Strive, and you know, and how easy it seems in comparison to some of the other stuff. But I mean, you know, I think that's just generally that it's good that they actually do the redesigns. If you, in my opinion, you know. Because I think that just generally that, you know, the problem that the Guilty Gear series has had is that it's had a fairly long period of stagnation. You know, when you've seen you know, when you've had a few, you know, about half a decade, well, between half a decade and a decade, when you haven't had a new game, you know, you do need to redesign things a little bit, you know, just to freshen it up, because you know, otherwise people just get bored and you end up playing the same game over and over again. I think this is one of the important reasons why Street Fighter has endured as long as it is, and why 6 is still as why 6 is as popular as it actually is. Because, you know, that was a complete and utter redesign. I mean, even the most boring of designs, arguably, which was Ryu, is still, you know, it's still pretty awesome. You know, it's still quite a very big one. I mean, he's got a bit, you know, quite a big change. He's still got the beard. You know, he's still got that massive. He's still got the beard that he started getting in 5, and you know, but he's looking a bit more. He's looking a bit more fresh, so to speak, in comparison to the youngish face he used to have in the you know, in the alpha and in the alpha series and up to 3. He's been really, you know, it's good to see him. It's good to see him actually have a. You know, it's good to actually see that there's a redesign, because, you know, it makes the game in that series distinct. I mean, I think anyone with who's a fan of, I think anyone who's a fan of, you know, who's a fan of Street Fighter would agree that, you know, that there's a certain level of, you know, each of the games look completely unique, especially between 2, 3, and 4. Well, yeah, obviously, I mean, you know, it's, you know, 4 is 3D graphics, and I think you know, and I think that it's great that it does that, because, you know, they're not resting on their laurels. They're not trying to build on nostalgia or anything like that. They're genuinely trying to, you know, make a different game, you know, to improve on what it was, you know, and what it originally was. And although one might argue that the Street Fighter series had a bit of a hiatus at one point, had a bit of a slump at one point, you know, especially between the I would argue, you know, especially I would argue around around the free period until they released Third Strike. You know, nevertheless, you know, I think that just generally it's good that Capcom have redesigned it. But anyway, back to what I was saying about Guilty Gear. You know, I kind of rambled. I think it is good. I think it's good that A.B.A did a redesign, and that you know that that they haven't just focused on. They didn't just focus on just redesigning her. Although she would probably, it was relatively rare since that she is in the Guilty Gear series. So I suppose this design would have worked. But it's good that they actually did. They did give a try to make it. That was totally by accident. But it's good that they actually tried to redesign it to make her more to strive, and they didn't really focus on the nostalgia that people had playing A.B.A. And it's good, you know, and it's also good that because of the design and because she looks slightly because of a design that she's become a lot more popular. Because I mean, I think A.B.A is the coolest character in this game. But you know, I can't help it. I think there's something about this design that I prefer, and I think it's just generally that it feels. I think that the new design makes. I think it focuses a bit too much on looking at like a yandere. I look at her hairstyle at the moment. Look at her hairstyle, you know, for instance, and I can't help but notice what was that yandere that was in Komi. Komi Can't Communicate. I'm trying to remember. I think you know what I'm referring to. I think you know what I'm referring to. It's a headband more than anything else. So the way she droops as well. I don't know. I just prefer this design. It feels like she's. It feels more like teenage. It feels more like a teenage love, if you see what I mean, between her and Paracelsus, rather than a kind of yandere relationship, which is what they kind of focused on. And really, in this design, I mean, in this game, she is a yandere. I mean, bloody hell! I mean, there's an obsession with blood and everything, you know. But I mean, yeah, I just feel that I don't know. It's good. The design is good, and it's good that it's actually brought more. It's brought more fans to her, you know, and more recognition to her. But I don't know. I don't know what it is about it. And you know, I'm going to get a lot of flack for doing it because I know that in particular on Reddit there's been a bit of a you know, people are under they're kind of under the consensus that in actual fact that A.B.A.'s design is better. Let's reset this. By the way, can I just before I carry on rambling, can we just take a moment to appreciate just how awesome that Cliff's theme is? I mean, that is awesome, isn't it? But anyway. Well, that was pretty awesome. But, you know, I know what it is, to a certain extent as well, is that she appears... I say, you know, this is going to sound like an old fire, and I am an old fire, I'm 36, you know, relatively speaking, I am, you know... On the upper range of usually the kind of people who are usually into this stuff. It's usually a young man's game, you know. The full of old whippersnappers who just can't help but you know, with their brain rot in their skibbity toilet. Yeah, I know it sounds a bit like that, but you know. But you know, I prefer the kind of traditional. The more traditional anime style. It kind of looks a little bit more cool and a bit more nostalgic to me. And maybe that's the reason. I don't know. But maybe it's because she seems a bit more demure in this. Maybe it is the short hair. Maybe it's the fact that she feels very lanky, you know, very gangly until she gets to Zamora mode. Maybe it's the fact that I don't know. I mean, you go backwards and forwards like this, you know. She looks like a dork. I think she's out of her depth. But don't get me wrong. I mean, the new A.B.A. in the new A.B.A. in Strive is I say new A.B.A. It is A.B.A. But you know, she herself is, you know, very awkward. But I just like this. I just like the gangly style. I mean, I think she's about 6 foot or something like that. She's just this really scrawny girl who just appears very, demure. I mean, there might be because I'm, you know, if anything, I'm into taller chicks, and maybe that's the reason why I have a kind of affinity for this design anyway. Oh, mistimed that. I wasn't trying to do that anyway, as it happens, but. Yeah, you know what? We're just gonna change this. No, oh my God, no! Let's take a moment. Right, look at her face. This is what I'm talking about. This she looks as if she doesn't look jealous. She doesn't look anything. She looks scared. You know, so it feels as if she's a bit more dorky. No, it's. I'm not going to lie to you. You know, I was somewhat gutted when, you know, when I first saw the new redesign for A.B.A. in Strive. And I know, and that sounds really pathetic. I know that, but I mean, I can't help it. But you know, I can't help it. It just seems to me that you know, I was a bit gutted because it looked as if I don't know what it was, and I kind of warmed up to the design now. You know, so I'm not one of those guys that sometimes will go on Reddit and then just say, "Oh, I hate the A.B.A. redesign. Why can't they change the way she was?" But I mean. But I mean, you know, I think one of the things I like about this design for A.B.A. is, well, I'm into main core. I need to get used to that. There we go. Yeah, I'm into main core, and she seems like the sort of person who would be, you know, in main core. I don't know what her name would be. It wouldn't be something like A.B.A. It's usually a Japanese pun in the maid core genre, and also she's not Russian. It's implied that she might be Pomeranian, maybe, or from the Pomeranian region. I don't know. I don't know. I don't exactly know where her. What's the name of her location? I've forgotten her name now. But yeah, she looks like a maid core character. You know, I always wondered, right? Let's do a bit of a thought experiment, right? Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, let's have a think about it. I was just going to go into the rambling whilst I you know, let's set this again. But you know, let's do a bit of a. Let's do a bit of a thought experiment, right? We'll go to, let's pretend, let's, you know, if I ever met A.B.A. in real life, I probably, you know, I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just trying to speed up time, you know, because you know, I've decided to do this for about 40 minutes, and we've still got about 42. How many? Let's see, we've got 42 minutes. So we've got 42 minutes of this, right? So that's you know, I'm just rambling away whilst I'm practicing with this. I don't know why I'm doing this on YouTube, but you know, there you go. But you know, I'd like to believe, you know. I'd like to believe that, you know, it wouldn't be romance or anything like that, because, you know, obviously she's got Paracelsus, right? But because I watch Rapecore, I always associate her, right, with a sort of where she'd just be sat just doing an absolutely mundane task, and I would just do that mundane task. I honestly don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just chatting shit because I've just got so, because my mind has just gone completely blank doing this stuff. It's yeah. What would happen? What would probably happen is, hey, do you want to play a fighting game? And she turned around and said, yes. And we just play fighting games in complete and utter silence. While Paracelsus is wondering to himself, just wondering, oh, I finally got some respite from this crazy bitch. Yeah, Paracelsus just sat there thinking, I love this bitch, but by God, thank God Glorious was here in order to just distract her for a little bit whilst I have some peace and contemplate my life choices. You know. Yeah, I would just sit there in silence, you know, and I'd be asking some weird shit like what's going on, A.B.A? And she just continued to ignore me, and then I'd be asking, and then I'd ask her something weird like, oh, well, how is your life? What do you think of love, A.B.A? And she'd stare at me and ignore me, and then I'd get annoyed, so I'd keep asking questions, and then eventually, eventually I'd just give up. I would just be sat there and it'd just be in silence, and you know, we'd probably be equal. No, she'd probably beat me at fighting games. I don't know, right? And then you know, I'd be just hanging around, and I'd just be hanging around, just playing video games with her, and just think, this is pretty cool. I'm playing video games with a goth chick, and it's not romantic, so it doesn't get awkward. You know, thank God. Yeah, because I don't know. If I could just generally. I'd just be sat there thinking, oh my God, oh my God, she is also crazy good at fighting games, unlike me. You know, yeah, you know, we'd just be playing fighting games all the time. I don't know. Where am I going? My mind has gone completely blank. I am dehydrated as hell. There's probably people who are just watching this right now, just watching this video right now, thinking, who the hell is this weird guy? Who is this weird 36-year-old guy that talks about playing video games with a fighting game character? Hello, my name is Glorious Ravine. I am, as you can tell, about 36 years old, and I am a scrub at fighting games, which is hence why I'm doing this random shit. I don't know why I'm reintroducing myself, because it was right from the beginning, but nevertheless, I mean, you know, I just thought I'd actually emphasize my position in this. You know, I'm not just some random, I'm not just some random guy who just makes some random shit. Yeah, in fact, I'm in denial about that. I am a random guy who just talks random shit. Hello, nice to meet you. But anyway. Ah, bloody hell. Yeah, we'll be playing fighting games. I don't know what fighting games we would be playing. It probably something. I don't know. I don't know. If I had to guess, because it would be a bit too meta. It wouldn't be Guilty Gear, obviously, because it probably would blow our mind. But it'd be. I don't know. It would be something like. It'd be something like. I don't know. I don't know what it would be. It probably might be any sort of the in-universe example of. I wonder if they got a fighting game that's been inspired by real history. In this particular case, you know, the Gear Wars. So you know it'd be sort of similar to Street Fighter, you know, and you end up, and you know, you'd be, you know. You'd have the main character who would look suspiciously a lot like either Kai or... No, it would look like Soul Bad Guy, right? And Kai would be his eternal rival, right? And it's based on history, so you know, it's not like Guilty Gear at all. It'll be like the mixture between Dynasty Warriors and a fighting game. In fact, no, it'd be more like Samurai Showdown, right? You know. And the bad guy would be Justice. So if I was ever in the Guilty Gear universe, and I'd be, you know, if I was ever in the Gear universe and I was playing that, and they'd be saying, "Oh, you'll like this fighting game, Glorious. You'll like this fighting game, Glorious. It's based on historical events in our world," and I'd be thinking, "This is suspiciously like Guilty Gear. Why is that?" But anyway. And I'd be really confused. I really don't know where I'm going with this metaphor, to be honest. It just got a lot more complicated than it should have been. But I'm just chatting shit. Sorry, I have to, or else I get stressed. Or else I end up getting. Hello. He dared strike back to me. We must get vengeance. Right, anyway. Oh, you see, that's pretty good, isn't it? I'm doing it entirely by accident, because I'm... Oh! Yeah, I'm just getting used to the controls, to be honest. And I'm doing all this awesome stuff and I'm not even trying. Yeah, it seems as if this practice is going well. Anyway. Yeah, so I'll be playing a fighting game. I don't know what... If it was Guilty Gear, it's based on historical events in the Guilty Gear universe... So therefore we'll be playing Guilty Gear in all but name. I don't know what the name would be. It'll probably be saying the Dark Age of Humanity. No, it'll be called Blaming the Beast. Right? So I don't know what Abba would play. Would she be playing herself? Would she? Oh no. She'd probably, knowing her. No, from what I understand from her moveset and everything, she'd probably be playing Nagatori. No, it would be Nagatori. Nagatori didn't exist. Probably Cliff. It's likely going to be Cliff. Because Abba in this version is too demure. Abba in this version is too demure in order to, yeah, to play herself, or at least she wouldn't consider herself part of the historical. In fact, she wasn't even part of the Gear anyway. She's just this random homunculi. Ah, right. Yeah, so we'd be sound at bat playing fighting games. I've decided that she'd probably play a character that's based on Cliff Olafson. So anyway, we'd be playing fighting games. There'll be sat on the mat. She'll just be staring straight ahead with a dour expression. And then she realized, and then halfway through, halfway through a round, she'd pause it and said, "I must hug my husband. I feel insecure around you, Glorious, because you're a 36 hairy bastard." So, I don't know where I'm going with this. I haven't drank anything, I swear. Where am I going with this? Honestly, right. So anyway, we'd be playing fighting games. We'll be laid on a mat on the floor, right? I don't know where I was going with that. Okay, anyway, we'd be playing fighting games, and probably more than likely I would be playing Milia or something like that. No, Milia was not directly involved in the Gears crisis or anything like that. All right. So anyway, we'd be playing fighting games, and I don't know where I'm going. I'm just chatting shit. I'm just checking shit. Was practicing anyway. We'd be sat on the tattooing mat, playing fighting games. Oh shit! Right. Why am I don't know why I'm laughing actually, but that's a burst. Anyway, we'll be sat on a Tommy Pat playing fighting games, right? And she'd have to go halfway through, just trying to. She'd have to hug Paracelsus halfway through because she's, because she'd be afraid of me because I'm a hairy 36-year-old bastard. Well, anyway, so I'd be playing. So yeah. So we'll probably be 50% halfway through. We'd be winning halfway. We'd be winning about 50% of the way through, and that's what we'd do all night. We would just be playing fighting games, and then eventually she would come up to me and say, "Gloria, I don't know your name, you weird hairy 36-year-old bastard. But please get out of my house. I don't know who you are." And I'd be saying, I don't know. I'd be saying something like, but we've been playing fighting games together for around about half an hour. No, it'll be more than that. Probably be 2 hours knowing her. And she'd turn around and say, "Yeah, that's because I was afraid." So yeah, this has been a 20-minute. Comedy sketch with no punchline. So yeah, you. So yeah, there we go. Oh god, I don't know where I'm going. Is this the right time to mention the natural? Yeah, you see, I'm getting used to it now. Anyway. Right, so now we've got nothing to talk about. Oh yeah, there was one thing, and this is a bit of a pipe dream. Right, you know what? I'm just going to pause this for a little bit. I do need to grab some water because I think the reason why I'm rambling so much is because I'm dehydrated. Just be a second. Right, back. So let's just carry on. What were we talking about? Right. Why was I talking about? Why was I talking about playing fighting games with A.B.A in the middle of it on a tatami mat, just randomly? I don't know. But anyway, yeah, that was the thing, right? Just let me get a drink of water. That's better. So, I thought I'd mention, right? For years, when I was a kid, you know, when I was a wee lad in the mean streets of I weirdly enough had thought of a fighting game that was inspired by Guilty Gear, the Guilty Gear X, right? It was weird. It was kind of a mix between Guilty Gear and this weird platform fighter called Super Kids, which was a knockoff, which was a Super Smash Bros. Knockoff that was made by I think it was a Korean company. And anyway, right? When I saw the new A.B.A design, I thought, you know, one of these days I'm going to create my own. I'm going to create my own game, right? I'm going to be creating. You know, remember that time, glorious, when you were going to make you were going to make a fighting game. You could do another fight. You could do a fighting game yourself. Yes, I know, Glorious, that you have no talent. You've never made a game in your life, and you can't design shit, and you can't actually, and you don't even know how to do fighting games properly. As evidence, you know, this is case in point though. This in this game, but you know, in this practice session. But I mean, you know, nevertheless, you know. I did, you know, it was weird, because it was originally going to be an RPG. It was going to be a JRPG, because, you know, I was a bit of a weeaboo in those days, right? And anyway, right, oh, that was pretty awesome. Well, anyway, yeah, and it was basically this thing about how everyone was in hell and they had to fight for they had to kind of fight for their salvation, you know, so that they could get into heaven. And, you know, so, you know, me being the edgy 12-year-old that I was, you know, I decided I was going to, you know what, I'm going to randomly do this. Yeah, being the edgy 12-year-old that I was going to, you know, it was basically all these horrible people. Like you had this guy who betrayed his family, who you know, and he ended up in hell, and he did these horrible things. He was a rapist and all this shit, and you know, and then as you know, recently, you know, I've been had a bit of a midlife crisis recently, you know, and I wanted to, and I had that setting in mind, and I thought, you know what, I never did make anything of that, despite my best interests. So, you know, maybe I could do something myself, you know, maybe I could. You know, maybe you know, maybe I could, you know, just do something with it. So I saw the ad about the new A.B.A design, and it, you know, all these thoughts came into my head, and I was, you know, I'd resurrect that idea if I could. But, you know, I don't know. So it's kind of been a bit more sophisticated this time, you know. But it's kind of weird because I keep thinking about it to myself, and as more I thought about it, the more I realised that actually, I kind of felt very passionate about it. I thought of a theme song and everything like that. I thought of the characters, and it was all about the nature of redemption and all that shit, you know, and how it's all about fighting for their own salvation. Fighting for their own, Yeah, that's it. You scratch that key. It'll be about how they fight, because the basic storyline would be that they were fighting against Satan. They would be fighting against Lucifer, and Lucifer had promised that they would give a wish if they could. They would give a wish when they've, if they succeed, if they win the tournament, if they win the tournament and they defeat him in a battle, So it's generic. It's basically kind of a weird mix between. I don't know. I'd say it's more like, I'd say it was kind of like the Street Fighter tournament, and more like a Tekken tournament, the Iron Fist tournament, and Twisted Metal in a way, right? And you know what? It is weird because that's such a shit concept, and yet I felt weirdly passionate about it. Let's reset. I felt a weird kind of striving about it, But it was about, another drink of water, sorry. Yeah, a weird sense of longing about it, as if it was my life's goal to create that game. I don't know what it was about A.B.A design, but I saw it and I thought to myself, Glorious, you've got to make this game. I don't know how you're going to do it, and it's probably going to drive me mad doing it, because as I mentioned before, I can't, I've got no game design experience. I've got character design experience. I don't even draw, to be honest. So I don't know how I'm going to do any kind of character designs, because it was. I guess when I was a kid, I was learning how to draw in the manga style, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I just didn't have the patience for it, and I regret it. I think the only experience I've got maybe is that I was a. I think the only experience I've got is actually writing, and that's it. Anyone can write, though. I mean, Well, I say that, but you know, not everyone can write well, and I think I'm just a little bit below average with that sort of stuff. But you know, something about it, you know, just makes me want to give it a try. You know, probably it's like very, very likely I'm going to fail miserably because it's going to be, if I did anything, it'd be very amateurish, if anything. But I don't know. I feel I need to give it a try, at least. Well, anyway. I think I'm getting used to playing as A.B.A. But you know, maybe I should give a, you know, yeah, you know what, I'll give a brief overview of what it was. Basically, yeah, so essentially it's set in war-torn Britain. For whatever reason, Hell has taken over the UK. The King of England is now Lucifer himself. And they're trying to spread their dominion around the world. And you know, one of the reasons why that came about was, you know, I had a few ideas. I mean, it would be one of them was the Queen had the Anna Horribilis in the early 90s, which would lead very well to the design I was thinking of it. So it'd be a traditional manga style, you know, 80s, 90s anime style, if anything. And I know there's a lot of games like that already. I mean, there's the one that springs to mind is Mullet Jack. But I mean, you know. But you know, yeah. So it'd be set in it would be, I don't know, set in something weird like 2256 or something like that. So. Yeah, then Lucifer, because for whatever reason decides he's going to create a tournament, and whoever defeats him in combat will be able to get him to yeah, whoever defeats him in combat would be able, you know, would be get a wish, and he would. Yeah, whoever defeated him in combat would be would get a wish. So some of the characters I had, for instance, was there was a guy who got a bit cocky, felt he was a bit of a hacker, wants to impress a girl. He ends up accidentally getting some angelic power, and it's taken over his entire body. He ends up, and he's in agonizing pain. So his idea is to go to Lucifer and try and cure his 12 minutes left. Yeah, we'll try and cure the pain. So yeah, all his powers would be draining his life energy. He'd be screaming, all of it. You know, so he'd be shooting fireballs out of his arm because it's filled with angelic energy, and he'd be screaming in agony. As I said, this is all edgy stuff. Yeah, he would. But yeah. So he's one of the characters. There was also a vampire, a French vampire who has been living for thousands of years. Been living for thousands of years in the back end, and you know, since Lucifer has taken over the UK, he's felt that he can come out of the woodwork. So it turns out that France was filled with French nobles at one point, French vampiric nobles at one point, and he's lived most of the time most of his life in France, just living a great life. So he had plenty of women. He'd be living a high life. He'd be surrounded by women. He'd be eating the best of foods. He'd be had a bit of a hiccup during the French Revolution, but otherwise otherwise living his best life. One of the things he loves more than anything else is to be with women, living a hedonistic lifestyle. And then one day he meets a particular woman. This woman is very earnest, unlike the buxom busty women that he usually hangs around with. This woman's has a bit more modest figure, but he's taken by just how honest and nice she is, and how kind, despite the fact that there's always an element of fear with many of the people who hang around with all the women who hang around with him. This one is a bit significantly different. And then one day the thirst for blood gets to him, and he decides he's going to treat her right and treat her exactly he did with other women. And the thirst takes care of him, and he sucks out all her blood, and basically killing her. And the feeling of regret he feels from doing this has haunted him. So when he heard that Lucifer was doing a tournament where the winner, the person who beats him in single combat, would be able to get a wish, he decides he's going to go there and cure his vampirism, get rid of his vampirism. So that's the second character. So he's kind of inspired by Benton from Cyber City 080. If you don't know what it is, it's a 1990 OVA that was most notoriously made. Character designs were made by Yoshiaki Kawajiri. He was the guy who did the program back in the Animatrix. But anyway, so yeah, he'd be fighting with the. I was thinking of sword, but I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, right? But I don't know what it is about French and swords, but every Frenchman in games has a sword. It's just one of those things, right? Especially in Japanese games. Sorry, another drink of water. Well, anyway, so I don't know what he's doing. So I was thinking maybe instead of so I thought maybe instead of a sword he'd be using spider webs. Not spider webs, but kind of like cords that work as spider webs. And he uses it to kind of slice into people to get their kind of drain the blood out of them. Well, anyway, so yeah, that was the second. That's the second character. There must be more than two characters in a fighting game. It's just the law. Well, anyway, so that was the second character. The other character I was thinking of was a Welsh woman named Bonnie Jones. Can you have a hazard a guess of where I got the first name and second name from? Anyway, she's a singer. Yeah, that's another big clue. Who also has a dragon suit, which is kind of like a cybernetic suit. As a cybernetic suit that would be that you know, kind of has all these powers. So it grants her super speed. It grants her super speed, and would also give her the ability, you know, super strength. She can do She can fire beams out of her fingers and stuff like that. And I haven't really thought of a plot for her, because it seems as if, because it seems to me that because I can't really think of anything. So because of the nature of Wales, the idea was that she's continuously fighting to save Wales from dare I say English influence. And she would wonder it, and yeah, so when she becomes a so when she hears about the tournament, she enters it. The idea being to defeat Satan. Not Satan, Lucifer. So when she does, she realizes that the Lucifer thinks of her as useful, and said, "I'm working for the greater good. I need you as a knight." And that's the end of her story. The fourth character was an Oni biker chick. Is a bony biker chick who lives a very hedonistic life. Who lives a hedonistic lifestyle, just basically doing her own thing. Sleeps as many men as she can. Even just basically she's a libertine. So she goes around. She enters the tournament simply on the basis that she wants to you know, kind of live the ultimate lifestyle. Just the uncaring, not giving a shit about anyone else but herself. You know, that sort of shit. Well, anyway, she gets to Lucifer, and Lucifer turns around to her and said, "So this is all that life is to you, is it? Just one continuous joke?" And when she defeats her, he realizes that her life, that she's not getting any enjoyment, but she's fulfilling nothing. So she ends up with actually the saddest story of all of them. But then they've got her rival, who is a Oyabun, who is a man she used to know at an old girls' school, who was blinded by her. And this guy becomes an Oyabun. Or at least that's the concept. Well, the original concept was it was going to be a girl who pretended to be a boy so she can inherit her father's Yakuza group, but I don't think it quite works that way. Well, anyway, right? So she's just seeking. So he is just seeking revenge for the Oni who blinded him. So there was also. Who else was there? Oh yeah, the one that inspired the reason why this brought back memories for A.B.A, by the way, was this next character. It was basically a cyborg girl. A cyborg maid who is part of a programming to serve her master until his death. Her master is being stored is basically now just a disembodied head that's held in place by cybernetics. She's basically just goes around she goes around trying to just killing people and extracting their body parts, so that she can reassemble this guy's body. And anyway, yeah. So she joins the tournament on the simple basis that she's simple basis so that she can use Lucifer's body to reassemble her lover. And yeah, I don't know. You see, this is, you can tell a lot of these were created by an edgy 12-year-old, can't you? But you know, oh, we're nearly done. I think it's a few more seconds left. Oh yeah, there we go. Yep. There we go. Right. Okay, I think we're going to leave it there. I think you've had enough of my rambling, and I'm kind of tiring my hand out. You know what? Let's just do this for another few minutes or so. Yeah, fuck it. Right. Well. Right, so yeah, there we go. Right, we're going to end it there. So basically, nothing substantial. You've probably seen all this before and figured that glorious, you're just doing the same combo over and over again. But you know, I don't really care. I'm kind of getting used to how the controls work, and I think I'm getting slowly better and better. So we'll leave it there. I might just do exactly the same tomorrow. I don't really know. Just another hour of just fucking about. But anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to leave it there. So, this is Glorious Ravine signing off. Stay beautiful, stay wholesome, stay glorious. See you later.